Hello everybody and welcome back to another EPI video. Today is October 19th, 2024, and we are just 17 days away from the presidential election as well as other very important congressional elections and elections for governor across these United States. So today my main focus was going to be about the state of Pennsylvania and just giving a deep dive and noticing some broadly, I would say, very concerning for Kamala Harris. So let's get right into it. First of all, Trump leads by 0.5, so half a point in the polling average. He's up in Trafalgar, Wall Street Journal, Insider Advantage, Emerson, Tip, and Rasmussen Reports. And that's pretty good for him. He's tied North Star Opinion Research, as you can see here. But UMass Lowell doesn't have many respondents, so it's not too bad for Trump. But he's down 2 in Quinnipiac and 3 New York Times Siena. And obviously those are left-leaning pollsters in terms of previous track record, even though they nailed 2022. And so I don't think they're the best pollsters for the Rust Belt, but that is like the good news for Harris. Obviously Rasmussen's not that good of a pollster, but still, they did have Biden up 3, so, you know, it is something good for Trump. But the thing is, I think as we all know here, the polling aggregate does slightly favor Trump. And Trump has a unique point of strength here, because let's go to something like the 2000 election, and you can see Gore was up 4, right? 2004, Kerry was up 2.5. 2008, Obama won by over 10. 2012, by 5. So Trump's connection to the state with his economic policies really is what drove him to victory, a very narrow one against Hillary Clinton, and even a loss that was still the most narrow in this century against Biden back in 2020. So Trump definitely has a unique point of strength there. I want to talk about why Pennsylvania is the most important state in the election, which is why we're going to be talking about it so much, is because if you give everybody all their states that they won, not in 2020, but like, and these doesn't mean safe states just because they're in the deepest color, but it's just states that are not considered to be the 7 big competitive swing states. So if you give each candidate their safer states, let's just say, well, Kamala Harris, let's just give Trump North Carolina, right? Let's give him Georgia. He only needs Pennsylvania, nothing else matters. So that's something key to remember. Kamala Harris, let's give her Wisconsin and Michigan. If she also gets Pennsylvania, nothing else matters. She doesn't need any Sunbelt states. So very key there. And you can see Pennsylvania is key because if we're saying what Trump's slightly more likely to win, it's these two. Kamala, it seems to be something more like this given my last prediction. But let's say she even wins Arizona. Let's say she even wins Wisconsin. Still, Pennsylvania is still the key state just based off these two being better for Trump and these two being better for Kamala. That Pennsylvania seems very key as it has the most electoral votes of any swing state. So I think I've explained why it's so key, probably the most important state in this election. And I've noticed a concerning trend for Kamala Harris. Here is what it is. Politico's headline is Kamala Harris's Pennsylvania problem. And Joe Biden's local ties and cultural roots kept him competitive in a culturally conservative northeastern Pennsylvania. Harris's prospects in the heavily Catholic working-class region there are dicier. And obviously, she skipped the Al Smith dinner. I don't know how much effect that would actually have among Catholic voters, but it is interesting to look at this. So, America's second Catholic president was visiting his childhood neighborhood in April. And he's like, I'm Joe Biden. He has a connection there. And he was going to be beaten there badly because after the debate, his campaign was just collapsing. But obviously Harris is better than 2024 Biden. Is she as good as 2020 Biden? Well, we don't know there. Biden's local ties and cultural roots left him to victory in 2020 here. But obviously, as Democrats battle for the state, Kamala Harris is their nominee. She's not a Catholic man. She is a California woman of color who has spearheaded post-Dobbs abortion messaging. So she's an awkward fit, political rights, for the state of Pennsylvania. Have a hard-pressed working-class region that's historically been a locus of anti-abortion activity. So I don't know if if a majority of voters there are actually anti-abortion, but again, she does remind the voters there Biden reminded them of the older Democrats more focused on economic messages than Kamala, who's focused more on abortion and democracy and other stuff like that. And obviously, they say here Biden's discomfort with talking about abortion may have been a sore spot modern for the Democrats, but Harris, by contrast, you know, for voters at like northeastern Pennsylvania Catholics, that's harder. It's not what they need. It's not the messaging, and obviously it's not terrible, but the emphasis on it is probably too much. And as you can see, she just does not have the connection. It's something Oz was plagued with in 2022. David Cormick does not seem to have the connection, in my opinion. And yeah, see, it says it here. We don't have the Catholic connection with Harris. We don't have the local connection with Harris. So, see, so as this advertising executive says, there's not really a reason to believe she can approach the numbers Biden was able to get last time. That doesn't mean she can't win the state, but it's concerning, and it's a big demographic. Also, I just don't think she appeals to the white non-college educated or white working class voters nearly as well as Biden could, as shown in the Teamsters polling. But you can see this here. It's not very good for Harris, and obviously the Irish sense of history, that's a thing. But she just doesn't connect to it, and it's a problem. And I noticed something striking. I'll display it here because obviously, Bob Casey Jr. is running for re-election, and he is running for re-election, leading by just under 4 points. And with the exception of UMass Lowell and Quinnipiac, every other poll has been 2 or 4 points. So a close race, right? And he's a popular incumbent. Pennsylvanians like him. He's trying to distance himself from Harris very clearly. I didn't know he'd go this far. This is surprising. So maybe as an internal poll, the race is a little bit closer than these polls show. And maybe, Trump's beating Kamala. That's a bigger takeaway because this was surprising to me. Obviously, Bob Casey Jr. supports Kamala Harris for president, but this is a very interesting way to running his campaign. Here's a new ad he released, and I just want you to see it because it's key to understanding what's he trying to convey here. What's this message? So let's play this clip.
I'm a Republican.
And I'm a Democrat.
Our marriage, pure bliss. But on politics, we just don't agree. Except for Bob Casey. He's independent.
That's right.
Casey's leading the effort to stop corporate greedflation and price gouging. Casey bucked Biden to protect fracking. And he sided with Trump to end NAFTA and put tariffs on China to stop them from cheating. So in this House, we agree. It's Bob Casey who's doing right by Pennsylvania.
I'm Bob Casey, and I definitely approve this message.
So a surprising advertisement because he is running on Trump's tariffs and Biden's trying to restrict natural gas and oil, which again, tariffs are popular in Pennsylvania. Trying to ban fracking or restrict natural oil and gas, that's not popular. So the ad emphasizes he's bashing Biden, not directly Harris, but he's running to Trump. And that is a concerning sign for Kamala Harris because he literally basically praised Trump a little bit, in a sense, in that ad. And that was just striking to me. And maybe it shows in his internals that Kamala has some Pennsylvania problem that we're even seeing reflected in the polling average a bit, to the point where it's alarm bells for Kamala Harris. Like, look at the election shuffler. I'll do it here. So let's say Kamala Harris probably gains not as much as Biden did in the Philadelphia suburbs, but Bucks are likely to zoom right, actually. But like Chester, Delaware, Montgomery, right? Let's say she gains, I'll give her 2, okay? She wins by 1.5, right? But then I think Bucks trends to the right by 2. So a rightward trend, which is something that definitely Trump would be hoping for. Just likely, it's not like the rest of the Pennsylvania suburbs. And here it is. Okay, so that would be a 2-point trend to the right. And there's that. But then, of course, as you can see, she doesn't have much of a connection with northeastern Pennsylvania. So as you can see through all these counties, I'm going to multi-select them and just trend them. Let's say not anything nuts, but something definitely impactful, like 5 points to the right for Donald Trump, just based off these counties in northeastern Pennsylvania and also just eastern Pennsylvania, because Biden had an advantage all there. So let's go 5 points to the right. All right. Well, as you can, okay, that's actually 5 points to the left, so no. But the election shuffler is pretty funky. But 5 points to the right. There, it did it. Well, now she's only at 0.16. Let's give Philadelphia that because Trump has been doing better in Philadelphia from last time and likely will continue that trend. Well, he's at 0.38. And even if you look at the fact that he could gain in some of the working class, northwestern and southwestern counties of Pennsylvania, because she probably has a less connection there than any voter. Probably not as much as the East. So I'm going to give him like a 3-point shift, as you can see here. If that's the case, he wins by 0.7 D2, exactly the margin he won by in 2016. So that's the thing is, it's a bit concerning for Kamala Harris that you have Bob Casey running those ads. You see the polling. You see no connection with Catholics that Biden had a lot of connection with. He was dubbed as their third senator. And I'm not saying they should have stuck with Biden. Biden didn't have much of a chance after the debate. But you do see a general concern for the Kamala Harris campaign. I've even heard Mark Halperin say that out of all the 7 swing states, it's her 6th hardest to win. And who knows if that's true, but I've heard concerns about it. And you can even look at Poly Market, which Trump is at 57% now. Why is that? Why? And obviously there's still a good portion of things Kamala will win the state of Pennsylvania. But I think it's because of all I've outlined. Trump has surged recently in Pennsylvania, and I think it's because she's a scarily bad fit, and I wouldn't panic, but it is not a good sign. And if she doesn't win Pennsylvania, Kamala is very likely done. So anyways, everybody, thank you so much for watching this video. Please make sure to suggest videos in the comments section down below for me to make. Please like, please subscribe, and as always, thank you so much for watching. EPI out.